It's the GTN Show. Welcome back. And we have plenty to be getting on with today. Ironman win a major lawsuit. We're asking whether athletes should have priority when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine. And there are plenty more changes for the pro triathletes. On top of that tri news, I'm going to be discussing alternative training for triathlon inspired by my recent surf trip. We've also got the Nuzest giveaway winner to announce and plenty of brilliant captions to share with you guys. You might remember Mark last week talking about some of the cheats that he gets up to in the off-season, such as skipping some sessions, having a few more glasses of wine and going mountain biking. And it was that last point that actually got me thinking, what other sports can we do that can still benefit us as triathletes at this time of year? And I know you're shouting at me saying mountain biking is still cycling, and yes, I agree. So I thought I would look further out of the box when it comes to different sports, and I've been inspired by my recent surf trip. Yes, I was incredibly lucky. I managed to escape the UK for 3 weeks over Christmas, and I managed to get to Costa Rica, which is a mecca for surfing. And I am a complete beginner, but I threw myself in at the deep end quite literally and did 3 weeks of fairly intensive surfing. Admittedly, I was battling the white water for quite a lot of it, but towards the end I was doing what I call proper surfing. I'm sure some of you wouldn't agree, but I was amazed at how it really was challenging my fitness and my strength. So just paddling out and getting through the waves was really working my lats and my shoulders. Doing the pop-up, that was working on my core. And then once I was on the board, just trying to balance, stabilize, turn, it was really working my quads. So much so that today, a few days since I actually had my last surf, my lats and my shoulders are still really hurting. And I was getting out of breath doing this, and it made me think that that's the most swim-related activity I have done at an intense level for probably a year. And I just wish I could test my swim fitness now. Obviously now I'm back, I'm not gonna be swimming for a while, so sadly it is going to waste. But I just want to know, like, how much would that actually correlate to triathlon training? And could I maybe just go surfing in the future instead of going up and down a black line in a pool? But it's not about me. I was thinking about other suggestions that I could maybe give you guys some ideas of stuff you could be doing now, obviously within reason of whatever restrictions you might have. And one of the first ones that sprung to mind was walking. And you might think I'm going slightly mad, and I'm not referring to just walking to the shops, as hopefully you're able to do that anyway, but actually going out for more of a hike, say off-road if possible, because it's going to be engaging all of those smaller muscles, but going for something that is going to test your endurance. And this is perfect if you're an endurance athlete, and a lot of ultra runners will even actually schedule in some walking into their training program, as time on feet has been proven to help with your overall running, and it's something that I might investigate in the future. If you live somewhere really cold, then snowshoeing, for example, is an absolutely perfect complement to just getting that really low level base fitness and getting your legs slightly conditioned if you've had a real break from doing nothing. Sticking with the snow, you've obviously got skiing, and yes, downhill skiing comes with a fair amount of risk, but if you are good at it and you ski hard, you'll notice your heart rate goes up and gosh, your quads will certainly burn. If you want to stay to something that's a little safer and more sort of relatable or correlates better to running, then cross-country skiing is perfect. And you will see a lot of runners and a lot of triathletes who actually use this sport in the winter on purpose, not just for the mental break, but to get that fitness and that strength whilst taking out the impact of running. And it's something that I certainly did as an athlete and found that it's much harder than it looks. You could even look to doing something like rock climbing, and there's so many options for doing that indoors now. If you find a gym with a wall, or even bouldering, which doesn't involve much height, but you'll soon notice how your forearms, but also your lats and your shoulders will be working. So much so that quite a lot of professional swimmers I know used to incorporate this in their training in the sort of off and pre-season as something a bit different, but still relates over to that swim. And keeping it more simple, there's several options you've got in the gym. You've got HIIT classes, for example. Doesn't matter what they are, they're going to be working on your fitness. Pilates is brilliant for strength, yoga for your strength and your flexibility, and all of that will correlate really well to when you're starting to actually put your training back in, you'll have a brilliant base. CrossFit is another one, but if there's any that I've left out that you guys already do or thought of, do share those with us, and maybe we can get some inspiration for kind of just mixing up our training a little bit before we sort of start to ramp it back up again. Let me know in the comment section below. On to Tri News now, and we're going to start with a controversial one, as IOC member Dick Pound has suggested that athletes should have priority when it comes to receiving the COVID-19 vaccine in order to guarantee their eligibility to actually compete at the Tokyo Games in the summer. Now, Pound is Canadian, so just before I read out this quote, it makes sense. In Canada, he says, we might have 300 to 400 athletes so take out 300 to 400 vaccines out of several million in order to have Canada represented at an international event of this stature, character and level. I don't think there would be any kind of public outcry about that. Well, each country is obviously going to have different methods in the order of its prioritization, but I expect it's going to be similar to what we have here in the UK, where frontline workers get priority, and then it's the elderly and the most vulnerable, and that's naturally going to put athletes who are young and fit and healthy at the bottom of the list. That said, the IOC and the Tokyo officials have not even indicated that a vaccine is going to be necessary. And Thomas Bach, the IOC president, has even said himself that he doesn't think athletes should be prioritised over those more vulnerable people. So it does sort of open up that question of, should we actually be looking at athletes being vaccinated? When it comes to the athlete village, there's around 10,000 athletes from all over the world in one place. But it isn't just those that need the vaccination, because you've got all of the support team, the support bubble, and those volunteers, and that's going to make up tens of thousands of people who maybe would be lower down on that list. And it's an interesting one because the Olympics obviously been postponed 1 year already, and it's been indicated that there isn't room for any further postponement, and cancellation would be a disaster for the careers of many of these athletes. So do you guys think it should be something that is being considered, or do you think this is just sort of athletes in their bubble and, well, not even the athletes suggesting it, the IOC members needing to actually work out what's more important this year? It's a controversial one because as spectators, sport is such a major thing, and obviously for these athletes it's their livelihood. But I'd love to know what you guys think, so do share in the comments below, get the conversation going. This next piece of news isn't brilliant for any of you who entered an Ironman last year and found it cancelled due to COVID-19. Well, there was one woman who was incredibly frustrated. She actually filed a lawsuit against Ironman and the World Triathlon Corporation after her event was cancelled, because she felt very strongly that athletes themselves shouldn't actually have to take the burden of an event being cancelled. And this was ruled against by a district judge who said that no refunds means no refunds. And he basically explained that it was very clear in the registration form and the parts you have to sign, which says that you won't get a refund if an event is cancelled. So that is closed, apparently. He also said that the no refund clause is fair and consistent with common sense, given the type of events being debated. If race organisers were required to give refunds when events were cancelled for issues beyond their control, he said most race companies wouldn't be able to sustain a business. Now that causes a bit of a problem, because obviously a huge amount of events have been cancelled this last year, and a lot of those smaller events have actually been able to give, or have given, whether they were able to financially or not, have given the refunds back. Some of them preferring to just postpone it, and some giving out vouchers, obviously preferring the latter. But it just goes to show that if a small event can afford to give a refund, then should these bigger corporations, when it's a much bigger a much bigger entry fee involved, should they be even giving some of it back to these athletes who maybe can't compete next year? It is open for debate, but it's a very frustrating answer for so many of you out there. Following on from Mark's announcements last week of athletes swapping or leaving brands, joining new brands, there's been a few further kind of details coming out of the woodwork. And he mentioned that Braden Currie had departed from Specialized, and we saw that Josh Amberger had left Felt and joined Specialized. Well, you might not have guessed it, but Braden Currie has actually now gone to Felt. So it seems as though Josh Amberger and Braden Currie have literally swapped over brands. Quite an interesting one. I mean, triathlon is a small world. We're still waiting to see or hear where Lucy Charles is going when it comes to bike sponsors. If you've got any ideas or you've heard anything on the grapevine, do let us know with that one. And it isn't just brands and partnerships that are changing, it's coaches as well. Holly Lawrence has just announced that she is departing from her coach who she'd worked with for the last 2 years. She stated here that she is no longer going to be coached by Dean Golick and instead is going to return to her cycling coach, Elliot Lipsky, who she was actually with when she won the Ironman World Championships back in 2018. And it sounds like it's been a completely amicable split, and she thanks Dean very much for the last couple of years, getting her back from injury and obviously into winning form. And interestingly, so she's now going to a bike coach. That leaves running open, and she has announced she's going to be coached by her partner, Sean. And that worked a few years ago. And she does say that at the end of it on her Instagram post, pray for both of us. And the last lot of changes we've noticed are maybe not quite so significant, but it's athletes moving location, and it's a little bit like a winter migration. We see a lot of them this time of year going to their new training setup. They've had enough of the cold and they're going somewhere warm, the lucky things. Well, Katie Zaferes has announced that she's moving from Maryland in the USA, where she spent most of last year, and she's actually going to be based in North Carolina with her husband. And it's a very important year for the 2019 world champion, with the Olympics now just months away. And another athlete who's going to be really focusing her training where she wants to be ahead of the Olympics is Flora Duffy. We saw her training in South Africa last year and actually struggled to get out of that country when it went into lockdown, but made it to Europe to compete and then back to Boulder. And I think she had a quick trip to her home in Bermuda, but she is now back in South Africa, where she'll be using or making the most of the winter sun down there while she prepares ahead of Tokyo. And then Paula Finley as well has made the migration south. Her and her boyfriend Eric were based up in Canada. They've had several snowy, lovely shots on their Instagram. Well, they are moving down to Oregon, where I'm sure they'll be able to get in some faster, more race-specific workouts as the race season starts to look like it's on the horizon. Fingers crossed. You might have remembered last week we mentioned that Xterra are teaming up with Zwift. Well, we've got some more details on that now. It's a 6-week training program that has been designed by 14 times USA winner Josh Meadow, and it started on the Monday that has just gone. It's going to include sessions such as a 35-minute run that's simulating running through the Canadian Rockies, through to a 70-minute VO2 effort that's on the Maui course. So quite a range there, and these sessions are actually going to be interactive. You can join the likes of Flora Duffy and Bradley Weiss, the reigning world champions in the sport. And there's also going to be interactive sessions with many other Xterra stars such as Leslie Patterson, Mauricio Mendez, Arthur Serrieres, Sam Osborne. The list does go on. And after these 6 weeks, it's going to be followed by Race Week from February the 22nd to the 28th. And if you complete any of those bike races, and run races, it will unlock the Xterra specialist kit that you can then have and wear proudly on Zwift. And on top of all of that, there is a chance to win some prizes. So you need to head to xterraplanet.com/Zwift, and we'll include that in the description below. And you've got from either the 8th to the 15th of January or the 15th to the 22nd of February to win a host of prizes, which include a Wahoo kicker, Zwift run pods, Zwift run sensors, and $100 of Xterra gift certificates. Plus, all Xterra Zwift Race Week participants in the February week will automatically be entered. Oh, this is amazing. Entered to win an entry to the 2021 Xterra World Championships, along with gift cards and great prizes. Well, if that's not something to motivate you now when it's a little bit dark and cold outside, then I don't know what will. I'm certainly going to be looking up those events and at least doing the training and maybe having a go at the racing too. Hopefully, I'll see you there. It's time for the giveaway winner to be announced. Last week, we announced a Nuzest giveaway, a chance to win a whole year's supply of nutrition from this exciting brand, totaling up to £1,450. Well, if you don't know much about this nutrition product, you should check out Mark's video on I ran a half marathon every day for a week. Yes, he did actually do that, and he was more benefited and used this product throughout it. So check that video out if you haven't done so already. But now it's time to announce the lucky winner of this giveaway. It is Pablo Mazzoletti. Congratulations, Pablo. We will be in touch, and that will be on its way to you very soon. it's photo time. I've got plenty to share with you guys, but before I get on with those, I just want to remind you that you can also share yours. If you haven't done so already, then just check out the GTN uploader, which will be on screen now or at the end of this, also in the description below, and send in any videos, any photos, anything that you're doing at the moment that's related to triathlon. We would love to see, and maybe these will give you some inspiration. This first one is from Richard. It's a hand-built steel bike by Burls with 105 and Mavic wheels. And he is in Salford Engineering, Corby, Northamptonshire. That's in the UK, by the way. He says, having no space at home, I've taken over an unused disabled toilet at work and made my very own lunch hour pain cave. I mean, that is dedication, isn't it? Spending your lunch hour in the loo at work. I love it though. I love the ingenuity of that one, Richard, and the fact you have made it your own with your race numbers and things, and there's no sign of the loo, but I do see the telltale sign of that disabled floor, and you've got the bar there just in case you get a little bit tired on the bike. Love it. Right, this one comes from Alan in Horace. Not exactly sure where. Oh no, sorry, his bike is Horace. It's not in Horace, it's in Falmouth, which is down in Cornwall, again in the UK. He says, happy New Year, GTN. I enjoyed starting the new year with a mini bike run, fresh dip, and a bike home to warm up this morning. Hope you have a brilliant one. And by the looks of his toes, it is cold, but I think that could be Gilly Beach. If it is, let me know. I've swam there and it looks beautiful and calm, perfect for swimming, if you can endure the extreme cold that it's bound to be right now. Now we have Joshua, who's sent in a picture of his rally criterium comp. And this is from Liverpool University Halls. Well, it's impressive you can fit a turbo into your hall room, isn't it? He says, put together just in time for lockdown whilst back city living. And it looks like it's doing the job. Nice one, Joshua. Thanks for sharing that. And our final one this week is, guess what? It's not from the UK. It's been sent in by Kaylee Jane. And I love her description next to the bike when you normally put what bike it is. She says, it's one I was given by the charity, the Waterboy. That's brilliant. Well done, the Waterboy, for sharing bikes. That's what we love to hear. And this is in Maunganawi. Gosh, I've probably slaughtered that, haven't I? Main Beach in New Zealand. I mean, it had to be in the Southern Hemisphere, didn't it? Because look at that sunshine. And it's a race. She says, my mother knows I love triathlons, so she bought me an entry to a couple of local triathlons for Christmas. And this was taken after I finished a Surf Breaker Super Sprint on the 27th of December. Oh, that is amazing, Carly. The fact that you're racing, there will be a lot of us very envious of you, but thanks for sharing it. And you guys, remember what you can do, share those using the uploader, which is on screen now. It's caption competition time, and I mentioned it in the intro because this week I was seriously impressed with you guys and the amount of brilliant captions. It has made my life a little bit harder because it's taken me quite a while to whittle them down, and I think I've still got 6 here or 7. Yeah, there's some good ones. Right, let's get going. So we had this picture obviously last week of Jan Frodeno with a lot of water being thrown over his head. And these first two are on the same kind of line. Juju Ryan, hang on guys, I thought the winner gets champagne. Norman Zyke says, water? I expected champagne. Yeah, I love those, especially because if I won, I would definitely want champagne, not water on my head. And I expect Jan had won. I can't remember what race it was. Senan McDonnell, Jan's tears after 2020. He wouldn't be alone on that one, would he? Carly Jane Jones, it's a triathlon, not a baptism. I like it. But these two are very similar, and I've had to split to make a winner. Seth Johnson says, Jan's captors, tell us why you're so good at triathlon. But it was Sean Maloney who says, okay, enough, I'll tell you my training secrets. Well, if only we could get Jan to tell us his training secrets that easily, we'd all be probably better triathletes, wouldn't we? But congratulations, Sian, we will be in touch. Well, actually, no, you have to get in touch with us and then we will send you a GTN cap. Sorry, I'm a bit rusty after Christmas. Anyway, it's now time for this week's picture, and I'm throwing all the way back to the Pan Am Games in 2019. If you are wondering what's going on, it's the handover of a mixed relay. So you know what to do, get those creative juices flowing and share your caption suggestions. And the standard's been set pretty high this week, so good luck with that. I think we all need something to look forward to at the moment. Well, there's plenty of videos coming out on GTN. We are still filming as normal as we can. And we've got what happened to training on Phil. That's one that I'm looking forward to watching, actually. We've also got the next one of our winter running series. It's running in the dark. I mean, I could be filming that one now, couldn't I? And remember, you might need a little bit of inspiration at the moment, and sometimes it's nice to have a new piece of kit to help with that. So why not go and check out the GTN shop and treat yourself to something. The link is on screen for that now. And a couple of videos, if you've not watched them already, I would seriously recommend. We've got how to become a triathlete if you are looking for those New Year goals. And we've also got another one on how does synchro shift work.